Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing the self-destructing books. So, in past years, I have done this, and then like the next day or the next week, I would just unhaul all of the books that were on this list, which is kind of very anticlimactic. But basically, your self-destructing books are a list of books. Usually, most people pick like 6 to 12 range, and they give themselves a time limit, usually like a year, to read all of those said books, or they have to be unhauled. I am trying to be more intentional with my content on my channel, so I only want to put stuff out that I'm proud of, and I felt like doing the self-destructing books and then like immediately unhauling all of them was kind of counterproductive and not okay. I mean, you do you, but it just wasn't working for me in particular. So, I have literally just reorganized all the books in my house, and I went and unhauled some, and then I actually saved some from my unhaul list. I will link that video if it's up, but I think this one might be up first, even though I filmed the other one first. I don't know. We'll see. If it's up, I'll link it. If it's not, sorry, it's coming. So subscribe if you're not already. For this round of self-destructing books, I picked 15 books that I'm actually super duper excited to read, but for one reason or another, I'm really nervous for them. So I feel like I need the extra push to read them, or else I might not read them. But they're also not the type of books that I'm just gonna go out and unhaul tomorrow, because 90% of the ones on this list I'm actively excited for. So I'm going to start with the two romances that if any of them get unhauled without being read, it's going to be these two romances. The first one is Meet You in the Middle by Devin Daniels. This has been on so many TBRs, and it's like a political romance, which is funny because I read Boyfriend Candidate by Ashley Winstead, and that's a political romance, and I actually really enjoyed that one. But for some reason, I'm super scared to read this one. So this one might, if any of them are unhauled without being read, this one might be it. Or this romance, If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. So I've read the first few chapters, and I really like the writing, but I am scared. I'm scared that it's going to be young adult, and I don't think that I knew that going into this book. But it says like it's a sweet hypnotic love story, and like if it's a young adult book and it's a love story, then I'm going to get the ick so fast with this. I don't read a lot of young adult at all, but especially young adult romances give me the ick. Since I just said that I don't read a lot of young adult, I might as well just do my young adult. I have like 5 young adult books on here on this list. I think these are the only 5 young adult books that I own that I haven't read yet. So might as well just put them on this list, right? So there's Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. This is a young adult fantasy. I don't read young adult. I don't read fantasy. But here's the thing. I got this back in like September, I think. And my whole goal was to read this book. And if it was something that I thought my little brother would like, I was going to give it to him for Christmas. Now, I did not read it, so I don't know if it's something my little brother would like. But I'm really hoping that I can get to it. It's like a portal fantasy. All her life, Janny has dreamed of elsewhere. Barely scraping by with a job at a tannery, she's resigned to a dreary life in the port town of Dirk, caring for her younger sister Zoza. That is until the legendary Hotel Magnifique appears in town. Hotel Magnifique is famous for its astonishing enhancements, especially its ability to travel the world, arriving at a new destination each midnight. Janny and Zoza seize their chance to join the hotel staff, and they're soon swept up in a world of sparkling chandeliers and impossible magic. See, that actually sounds really good, but it's so far outside of my comfort zone that it's not, I can't even touch it or see it or anything. So please, in the comments below, force me to read this one, because I would love to read it. And I mean, it's a beautiful cover. Not that that should impact anything. Then I have Backlash by Sarah Dar Littman. I think that I own this one on audio too, so I should be able to get to it, I hope. But basically you follow this girl who's getting bullied by this guy. He says you're an awful person. He says what makes you think I'd ever ask you out. He says the world would be a better place without you in it. And I'm pretty sure that she takes those words seriously, and I think it doesn't say that she commits suicide or tries to harm herself, but I'm just thinking like back to when I was a teenager and when I had things like this happen, and I'm pretty sure that's where this book is gonna go. So I know it's gonna be like hard-hitting young adult contemporary, which if I read young adult, it's gotta slap me in the face or punch me in the nose. Another hard-hitting young adult contemporary is I Was Here by Gail Forman. This follows Meg and Cody, and they're best friends. And then Meg drinks bleach alone in a hotel room, and she dies. And this is like Cody grieving her death and trying to really figure out, put all the pieces together of her best friend who she didn't know was struggling. Then I have a book of the month book, which is also young adult. This one is Past Perfect Life by Elizabeth Elberg. See, it's a Bloomsbury book, which is so cool. But this girl named Allie Smith finds out that her real name is Amanda, and she's been missing for like 12 years, 15 years, and she's only like 16. So she finds out that her whole world has been a lie, and I'm sure that this one is going to pack a punch as well. It's going to be like very hard-hitting, hard to read, and those are the type of books that I love. But again, young adult, super emotional. So, and the last young adult novel on this list is Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. This follows this girl named Samantha McAllister who has OCD. And I'm not really sure what the story is about, but I was sold as soon as I heard OCD rep. And also, you know, like OCD rep. That's all I had to know. That's it. Okay. The rest are a smorgasbord of thrillers and sci-fi. So let's just get the sci-fi out of the way because I don't read sci-fi often and I want to. The first one is a sci-fi thriller that has been so hyped on BookTube, and I think it was a Book Talk, darling, but I don't know because it's kind of an older release, like 2020. Oh, just kidding, 2016. So I'm very late to this party as per normal, but because it was so hyped, I'm terrified to read it. It's also sci-fi. I mean, it's a thriller, but it has a sci-fi twist. I think the sci-fi is something about living the same day over and over and over, and I love the Groundhog Day effect, even though, like, I don't like sci-fi, but I do like playing with time. I do like books that play with time. So this is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I'm pretty much the only person that doesn't know what this is about, or that hasn't read it. So I'm not going to go into detail about this one. I just know that there's a time a while ago where it was really hyped. And I kept saying I'm never going to read it. But somehow I got my hands on a copy. And there is a lot of intrigue there. But I'm scared I won't do it unless someone punches me in the face and says, hey, read this book. So, like, in the comments below, politely punch me in the face and be like, oh, I loved Dark Matter. Then another fun one with time is Replay by Ken Grimwood. I have heard only one person talk about this book, but she loves this book. So thank you to Emily from Emily Fox and Books or whatever. I'll link her channel up above. But this is about this man whose life is not going well right now. I think that, like, him and his wife are not getting along, and he just is not, he's having a time. And somehow, 1986. Somehow he gets the chance to, like, go back and redo his life and, like, replay his entire existence. And it sounds so intriguing, but I know me and I'm not gonna pick it up. So hopefully by putting it on this list, it will force me to, because I do really want to read it. I'm just scared. Okay? I'm scared. Our next book is a horror novel that's also sci-fi. So sci-fi horror? Sure. It's Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano. Chillingly creepy, you've been warned, is what R.L. Stein says about this. So, in this, you follow, like, this island called Clifford Island, and I think everyone on Clifford Island is stuck in 1994, and they just keep reliving 1994, and I think that there's some kind of magical element, and obviously a little bit of time, and I love this cover, so I need to read it just so that I can keep this on my trophy case, on my bookshelf. because that cover is amazing, but then I have to like the book too. And she's a little bit thicker. Not like super thick, but big books do scare me. And okay, it's only 440 pages. But, I mean, I'm very nervous for this one. But it also sounds very exciting. It's like a thriller, horror, magic, time travel. And then our next one is like a fantasy-esque or magical realism. Anyways, it's A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. I have been so tempted to unhaul this book, but every time I do a book unhaul, I save it because it sounds so good. So it's a mystery with magic elements. A gloriously written tale of a community frozen in time and falling headlong into darkness. The plot twist will leave you breathless. Travis has an unusual talent for locating missing people. Hired by families as a last resort, he requires only a single object to find the person who has vanished. When he takes on the case of Maggie St. James, a well-known author of dark children's books, he's led to a place many people only believe to be a legend. So I think it's like a portal fantasy where he's trying to find her, and it does sound really intriguing, but again, I know with the magic elements and like the sense of mystery, mostly the magic elements, I'm never gonna pick this up on my own, but I really want to. I think that's the whole point of this video, is like, I'm not gonna pick that up, but I want to. So like, help me out, help a girl out. And if you've read any of these, let me know in the comments below that I need to prioritize one or all of them. I mean, I'm really trying. Let's do our one mystery and then go on to our thrillers. So Foul is Fair by Hannah Capin. This is an ARC. But more than that, it's about this girl. I think her name is Lila. She was assaulted at a party. I think this might be young adult, which scares me. Because I think that she's like high school age. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But she's assaulted and now she's out for revenge. So it's not about the assault, it's about the aftermath, and she wants revenge. So like, girl power. Alright, these last three thrillers are Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. Gillian McAllister. So in a lot of ways, this sounds so good. You follow this mom who sees her son come home after curfew, but as he's walking up the driveway, he turns around and murders someone. And then, I'm not sure how it happens, but then mom, like, tries to cover up the murder, I think. And then she wakes up and it's yesterday. And then she's trying to, like, replay everything and, like, make sure that this guy does not get murdered by her son. And then she wakes up and it's the day before that. So there's, like, some kind of funky time travel, and that sounds very appealing to me. But I've never read a book by this author that I like. I always tend to DNF her work. So I'm going to try really hard with this one. Then we have a domestic thriller, and for my domestic thriller, I'm putting A Good Marriage by Kimberly McCreet on this list. I don't know what it is. I just know it's domestic thriller, and it's on this list because Kimberly McCreate. I've never liked a Kimberly McCreate book, but I keep trying with her, and I don't know why, but here she is. And our last book on the Self-Destructing Books list is a book that was really hyped when it first came out. That's All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. I have no idea what this is about. I think it follows a woman who goes back to her small hometown, but I don't remember why, and she hasn't been there in so many years, blah, 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 and then stuff happens. I'm just really nervous because everyone was loving this book, and that should be a reason that I would be more excited for it. But no, it has the opposite effect. It makes me that much more scared to read it. So those are the 15 books that are being added to my self-destructing list for 2024, which means that April 9th of 2025, which is my birthday, April 9th, we'll go and look at these and pick new ones. I am hoping that this is the first year that I actually took this list seriously and didn't just go unhaul all of them. I have faith because I just did like this really big unhaul and I went through literally every book that I own. I have faith that I'm gonna read at least 80% of these books. Mark my words. Or at least attempt 80%. If I attempt all of them, but DNF all of them, I'm counting that as a win, because DNFing it just means that I'm no longer interested in these books. But if I'm still interested, or I just went out and unhauled them because I was scared of this list, which is what normally happens, then that's a failure. You know, big L on my forehead. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. Usually we're not so negative, but it's the Self-Destructing Books list. So, you know, get with it.